I'm James Clifford.
I'm John Lehan.
And I'm Preston Hasshagen. This is the Dirty Jimmy.
Hey yo, what it is, everybody report to the motherfucking dance floor with they motherfucking drinks, they wet ass pussies, they big fat asses and them big brown.
You never heard this, right?
I've never heard this in my life.
Cause I'm coming for you. I got
What is
bitches
that?
all on my
Dicking every day, sucking on my balls, licking on my balls.
bitches.
They know, sticking in their booty hole, my balls.
The balls?
Suck on my ball. All up in that asshole. Let me hit that booty roll.
Sounds like my theme song, man.
I love this shit.
Nah.
Beating down that pussy wall.
That's painful.
Dead.
My brother would play this every time. Anytime anybody ever invaded our world in Dark Souls and he'd fuck them up, he'd just start playing that while they were like
My balls.
Or like anytime we beat like a boss that took like 2 or 3 tries, all of a sudden you just hear that start playing through his
Love
headset.
bitches.
It's like his own personal little way of celebrating, I guess.
Your brother's a strange man.
Yeah, well, I guess he's a man. Legally, by age.
It's odd because I remember when he was a tiny little one. Now he's like taller than me and
Heavier than
large,
me.
and
He's like got 20 pounds on me, I think. Something like that.
it's insane.
He's huge.
Just murder him because this is not okay. 'Cause I'm gonna have a midlife crisis and he's gonna have to pay.
Yeah, well, I guess that's just how this works.
This is the world we live in. It's what you gonna have to deal with for growing old.
All right, well, I guess the first talking point would be your Jamie Lee Curtis thing there.
Yeah, so that new Halloween movie that's coming out, apparently somehow Jamie Lee Curtis is returning one last time to play Laurie Strode, I would guess.
And that's weird because...
Because she was murdered.
No, I know that. I want you to explain to the listeners in case they are unaware.
Back before the Rob Zombie reboots with Halloween Resurrection, you know, the Busta Rhymes Halloween movie. The good one. In the opening scene, she's in like a mental institution, and then like he kills her. She like gets stabbed and falls off a rooftop. I'm pretty sure that's a confirmed death. Usually don't walk away from that, but...
Well, I mean, like, how many times did Mike Myers die before?
He got blown up, he got shot, he got blown up again, and shot again.
Well, okay, so I'm not sure if this is correct. I'm going to look it up right now. But I thought that it was supposed to take place after Halloween 2.
See, that because they made Halloween H2O, which kind of ignored everything after Halloween 2.
Yeah.
And that was like the first time she returned. And that one was okay. It's the one where she like hacks his head off with the axe at the end. But then in Resurrection, it turns out he replaced the bodies with a paramedic and crushed his throat. So he escaped. And that's how that whole fucking thing happened. But yeah, this is a quote from Danny McBride. So it's not a reboot. It's not going to be a rehash. It's a continuation of Michael Myers. So
Yeah, well, it says, I think this is also, it says McBride explained, you know, it's not a remake. It's actually, it's going to continue the story of Michael Myers in a really grounded way. And for our mythology, we're focusing mainly in the first 2 movies and what that sets up, and then where the story can go from there.
And I mean, it makes sense because a lot of that stuff in between is garbage. Like I kind of like 4 and 5 just because I grew up watching them a lot because they were always on TV around
I always
Halloween.
watched 1 and 2 a lot, but yeah.
I mean, I saw those too, but like 4 and 5, there was a couple of years where AMC was constantly around Halloween time, so that was my first real exposure to it.
I like the first Rob Zombie remake. The second one was, you know, not the greatest.
No, it was not. It's a horse and his mom's... He's got to put his wife in everything, even though she died or like is dead in the first one.
I can't remember who she played.
She was his mom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then she's in like the weird dream sequences that just look like one of his fucking music videos.
He probably did just write it in to get his wife.
Yeah.
That's what. I remember when I saw that.
I already watched the whole thing about people being like pissed off about him because apparently he used to, before he made those, he would say like remakes are pointless and worthless. Why are you doing that? Or if you're going to remake a movie that's shitty to begin with. And then people are like, oh, so you thought Halloween, which is considered like a slasher classic, was shitty to begin with? And I guess he had issues with it that he wanted to change, but...
I liked what he did, though, because he gave like a backstory. I liked the first one a lot. I mean, I know some other people that, personally that...
Like I said, I do kind of enjoy it, but at the same time, I still prefer like the original, like... originally, even before Halloween 2, it was just like, oh, I just want to have a character who's just almost like the boogeyman, just in the shadows, no real reason. You don't know why. Mystery is the suspense and the horror and all that, not the explanation.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's just with the remake that he did, I just enjoyed having it. So it's like you have
you have different versions, and the other one's not going away, and everyone's going to know that's the one that's the classic, because
well, especially now
you
the
have
new
the
one,
internet,
apparently.
you look it up, like it's going to come up and show, or it'll say it's a remake, or, you know.
Well, that and like the new one that's coming out is going to go off those two, apparently.
So what, I forgot, because someone, I can't remember, who's directing it? I have it pulled up, but I don't have to search through all this and waste time. But so Danny McBride's involved somehow. I don't know if he's like producing. Or...
I think he was helping write it.
Yeah.
As far as I remember, I think he went to him. I think he's one of the main reasons why it's happening. Like he went to him.
I know
and
he
said
talked to John.
idea,
We talked about how he went to John Carpenter, and John Carpenter said
and he liked what he had.
He's John Carpenter's executive producer, so he's and creative consultant and potential composer.
That's odd.
Well, he wrote he writes a lot of his own music.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like the Halloween theme he wrote, or like all the music and like in that movie, and like I think Escape from New York, and not all of his movies. I'm sure he's had other people do it when he wants something a bit more fancy. But
yeah,
that weird synthy keyboard kind of shit that'll be in his movies, that'd usually be him.
No, okay, that makes sense then. I guess it's not super complex. So.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, so I don't know. I guess they're just going to ignore that again. Just going to do another reboot. Like, I don't mind, because I know.
A reboot?
And at the same time, I doubt, like, anyone even really fucking remembers Halloween Resurrection.
No, I mean, I don't.
And it ends with fucking Busta Rhymes like, Kia, motherfucker! Yeah. They're like kicking him out of windows and a house on fire, and oh no.
Yeah, I never really. I remember I saw it maybe once, but it's kind of like the Bride of Chucky.
Yeah.
It's
like, just completely off the rails, jumping the shark.
Yeah, that's kind of like how all those movies were back then. That was like the 90s, right? Or is that...
it was like the early 2000s.
Yeah, I was going to say that came after H2O, which I think came out in 2000.
H2O was like 2000. I think
that's why they...
Or it was like 98 or something, because it's supposed to be like Halloween 20 years later. It's like the 2-0.
Okay, yeah.
Or like something like that.
For some reason, I always thought it was like, because like the millennium, but I could be wrong.
I think, yeah. I don't fucking know.
Not like it really matters. They sucked anyway.
They did. It's sad. And then like the
Friday... That whole time period.
They were making a Friday the 13th. They were planning on doing that like a year or so ago, but that got like scrapped. Like completely. Like,
didn't the last remake come out like not that long ago?
This has probably been like
10
years or so.
Yeah, I guess it could have been.
So, and I didn't really like the reboot.
I haven't watched it. I guess it's on.
I mean, it was just
YouTube.
like another generic slasher, but for some reason I'm like, this isn't the 80s anymore. You can do better than make like a shitty, stupid slasher. Like you can do
Didn't
other
Michael Bay
things.
do it though?
I think it's like produced, like kind of like how Texas Chainsaw and all that stuff.
Okay.
Like in his like studio or whatever, whatever the fuck, however you say it. His
well, I guess it'd be studio. Like, I get.
Yeah, his like company, like maybe
it'd be like a studio, his production company.
Yeah.
This kind of goes on like my next or my one talking point, which would be that this is like another remake, I guess it's not a remake according to McBride. So this isn't as bad, but it kind of goes up the same thing that everything now is basically either a remake or
rehash, reboot,
or
retelling.
Sequel, or it's got like it goes on like I was gonna bring up like we were talking about earlier, the Avengers and shit like that. How it's not all of them are remakes because that's still I guess kind of a new thing, the superhero movies, but. It's like I was saying earlier, I always wanted more zombie films, and then Zombieland came out, and it was really good. And then everyone decided, let's make zombie films.
Walking Dead's everywhere, even though that show...
I don't like it. Yeah. I liked it for a little bit, and then it just got fucking terrible. I really don't like it. The games are really good. I
played like a little bit of the first episode of the first season or whatever, because it was like free once, but...
It gets really good.
It was pretty cool. I didn't have money for that.
No, I think it's like $5 an episode. I think it's like $15-$20 for like the entire series. Telltale made a Batman one too.
They did. I heard about that.
It was pretty cool from what I saw. Some people I guess hated it. I didn't play it, but I watched a good amount of the walkthrough with the Rad Brad.
I feel like with anything Batman related, it's hard to go back from like any sort of Arkham gameplay of just being able to crush heads.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I am the Bat.
There was because. They are mostly like picking. It's kind of like a point and click style game, but the way that the combat system worked, and from what I saw the Rad Brad playing, it looked pretty cool. It's a bit more interactive, and he did some pretty fucking cool shit. So I was like, oh okay, but you're not like it's not like playing Arkham or anything like that. But to continue on with it it's like we started getting all those terrible zombie movies, and then we always wanted superhero films, and all we ever got was like the original few Batman, and then Spider-Man.
Superman back in the 70s.
Yeah, well, I never really was around for that. But
No, but I used to see him on TV all the time.
I saw one.
Like, I remember when the first Spider-Man came out.
Dude,
Tobey Maguire.
He was my hero.
I was like 10 years old about. Spider-Man was my favorite thing.
For a while, I didn't even hate that everyone said I looked like him.
No, I remember that. I remember when you first moved up here. I was like, "Look, it's Peter Parker." I was like, "I don't see it completely, but whatever."
But when I started working at
glasses yet.
when I started working at ShopRite, everyone's like, "Oh, you know who you kind of look like?"
Really?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah, still.
Even with all the facial hair that I feel like he can't grow still.
Yeah. Well, he's always so clean shaven.
He is.
With that ugly ass crying face.
But like when that movie
that kind of goes with it too.
out,
Maybe somebody saw me shitting and they thought I looked like him.
That's the face. Did your uncle just get murdered?
No,
or
Mary
your
Jane
bowels
left
just coming
me.
out of your asshole.
It's a combination. But
I was so excited for that. My grandma was like cutting out newspaper clippings, like when they first revealed the costume in like whatever newspaper
it was
came
so
out.
big. It
I had
was
it like
all over
hanging
the
up.
news.
Yeah, and like that's the thing is like you say like
that was a good time period.
Kind of sick of the superhero movies, and I won't say I'm sick. I'm nowhere near as excited as I used to get about everything.
I haven't even watched Doctor Strange yet.
Doctor Strange, I liked.
I haven't watched Thor 2.
Thor 2, I never finished that. I tried to watch it twice, not to get too graphic, but with my girlfriend at the time. I got a bit distracted because I was like, yeah, it's a Thor movie, I guess. There's Thor. There's
I liked
Loki.
the first one.
I know people who didn't because
but
it was.
My thing was like none of them were as, I don't know, I guess realistic's a bad term, but they weren't as realistic as I wanted or like as, I guess, graphic or mature like the comics get mature with like basically all of them. But then look, I feel like when they finally do go that route, except for like certain films, like Logan was fucking awesome, but a lot of them they try to go that route and they go like way overboard. It's like nobody can find that medium.
Yeah, because sometimes like the DC stuff, it's like
it gets too dark. Like,
it's too dark, and they like can't for some reason like can't show any sort of light and happiness or like levity to it. You just got to be dark and dour the whole time. Which Joss Whedon's doing reshoots on Justice League, which I still feel like that whole movie is going to be a train wreck.
Yeah, well, the setup for it wasn't exactly fantastic.
No.
So, but that's the problem that we're going to get to also is that everything now is trying to set up a universe or something like we were going to talk about like the Universal Monster thing.
So fucking like when I first heard the concept, I was like that could almost be cool if like
with what the Universal Monsters.
Yeah, because back in the day they used to do like they would do the movies, they had their series, and then they would do like a crossover with like Dracula.
Why don't you just do that though?
They're
just
like
do a crossover.
That's the thing.
You don't have to mention that they're in the same
first
fucking
people
world.
that technically have like a cinematic universe was the Universal Monsters. And now they're like trying to replicate it, but they're trying so hard. Like, guys, the big thing is like apparently a lot of people didn't like how that the Mummy beat you over the head with like it opens up with the Dark Universe logo, and you got Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll or whatever, and
they instantly like introduce him.
Yeah, and it's like already kind of like hinting like, yeah, look, there's gonna be more.
Why don't you just put like flyers in the background, like a very visible flyer, like when you walk
Easter
past
eggs
the thing
or something? Yeah,
you're like, oh, like hint, like don't just fucking like shove it in my face.
Yeah, just make a Mummy movie like.
Yeah, just make the Mummy movie.
And there's a bunch of people who think that's just a remake of like the '90s Mummy movie.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, but even that's a remake of.
Yeah.
Even that's not even a remake. Yeah, it's just kind of like a
retelling.
Rebooted. You know,
totally different movie, really, just the same name.
It is just using the Egyptian mummy.
Yeah.
Stuff, but you know, you could do a good movie with that. I know it's like a girl. I didn't watch it. Why would I waste my money on that?
I saw Tom Cruise was in it. I was like, nah, I'm checking it out.
Yeah, no. Which
I don't hate Tom Cruise and everything.
Most of his movies, like usually, just kind of come out. It's like like the Mission Impossible movies. Usually,
I couldn't imagine him being in a movie like The Mummy though. Like it just doesn't seem to me like it would fit him.
Yeah, and then like I heard at the end, he like gets powers somehow, so he's gonna be like the Mummy kind of guy. Yeah, and it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? And Russell Crowe's like, yes, I'm here to talk to you about the Monsters Initiative. Like, I doubt he says that, but
the Monster Initiative. It's just also fucking
ready to
convoluted.
do the Monster Mash.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to get into it too much because I don't want to like spoil anything for you or anybody else who hasn't seen it. But I saw the new It, and I know that you and John haven't. And this kind of goes with like certain things that have also come out, like the Dark Tower movie, which is another Stephen King thing. And I've been saying this with a lot of shit that if people have read the comics or the book prior, and you go see the movie and I know it's never going to be as good as the book, but then you start getting upset that they like leave a bunch of like really good or important shit out.
Yeah.
Or like in It, they changed a lot, and I kind of figured they would change some, but they had already pre-planned doing a second movie. Why didn't they just pre-plan doing like a trilogy or something to like spaced out and add more of the shit?
Yeah.
And then they changed up like which characters do certain things, which I thought was like one, pointless, and two, kind of fucked up because like one of the characters that they took something from, like he's like the one who's supposed to make like the blood promise at the end, or like the one who like initiates it. They took it away from him and gave it to like the character Bill, who's like already like more of a main character. So this person had even less to do in the movie.
He's just there now.
Yeah, I mean, like he did some shit, but he was like very much like a background character in the movie. And then I think they could definitely made it creepier, which is like what, because I'm still in the middle of reading the book. I'm a little bit past the middle, but it's just like you read the book and it's fucking like it can be kind of nerve wracking. Like like at one time I was taking a shit at Save-A-Lot, and it has like a timed light. And I was reading it, and like the light just kicked off, and I was like, and, like, oh my god! Had to fucking paint the bowl real quick. It was awful.
He won't come get me if it smells this bad in here.
Well, what makes it even worse is like when the light does shut off. You know, my pants are on my ankles, and like I can't see if I'm wiping, like if it's still there, because like that shitty toilet paper, if I'm just smearing it. So like I had to get the light back on, so I had to open up the stall and hope that a customer doesn't come in while I'm waddling out the stall. And I lean out the stall, I have to wave a little bit. And hopefully, like the light, like the motion sensor will catch it and like turn it back on. I used to just sit there and throw toilet paper over the stall and hope that would work, but it never picks it up.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah, but either way, the book is really good, and they left out a lot of stuff in the movie that I think they should have added, because I mean they only really covered like the kids section of the story. So I don't know. They should have done a lot more with it, I feel.
Adaptations, man.
Well, something happens to one character that I was like, this does not how that goes, and it was like, what are you gonna do with him?
Now,
well, because like I don't know, like there's no. I mean, I guess like I don't want to spoil it, but like I was like, okay, he's not amongst the living anymore, so
he's dead.
So like, how's he supposed to come back when they're adults?
It's gonna do a thing, you know?
And it was ridiculous. So with things like that and the Dark Tower and stuff, I don't understand why. You look at something like Game of Thrones and you see how successful it is. Why don't you just go, hey, HBO? Stephen King's gonna foot the bill a little bit, and we have like all this production money behind it, and blah blah blah.
I think a lot of stuff like that, like shows are the better way to go.
Yeah,
with that.
Like make hour-long episodes of fucking it, and like that could be a fucking like 7-season show, easy.
Yeah,
and then same thing with the Dark Tower. There's 7 fucking books, and like the first book is pretty short, and the second book is like a pretty decent length. I think it's like 300 or 400
Even
pages.
Even if they did make an entire show about it, they would still change things.
That's fine. I'm fine with them changing things to a point, but like. To just like completely drop shit or like not make it as good as it could have been.
I kind of had this conversation like a couple weeks ago talking about that Iron Fist show, and it was basically like when you change enough to where like it kind of takes away from the character. Like Iron Fist is all right. I'm gonna talk Defenders right now. I don't know you're not gonna watch it because you didn't finish season 1 of Daredevil. I couldn't finish Iron Fist. I watched every other series. I got like halfway through, and I just kept falling asleep, and I got bored. He's a whiny little bitch. And in Defenders, fucking like Iron Fist and Daredevil get into a fight. Now, Daredevil, he's competent, but Iron Fist is referred to in the comics as the living weapon. He's got a glowing magic fucking fist. He punched his hand through a dragon heart to get it, and he's been, like, trained by monks in an ancient city that disappears and reappears, like, every 10, 15 years or something. And then you get your ass beat by Daredevil, who, like, is just some blind...
he got beat up?
Yeah. I mean, like, I think he gets a little help, like, Jessica Jones stuff, but, like, Daredevil is not having, like, too hard of a time...
He shouldn't be on the same plane.
Yeah, it shouldn't even be like a competition. Like Daredevil should be like in that team. It's like obviously Luke Cage is like I can just walk in front, be like the tank, take all the shots. Jessica Jones is like kind of like a detective. Daredevil can be like, you know, obviously he's a good fighter, but then also his sensing people in other fucking rooms throughout the building and stuff because he can do all that. And then Iron Fist is literally like crazy,
like the assassin.
Yeah, and they make him so stupid and like so naive, and then it's like, how am I supposed to take you even seriously when like.
You're basically retarded.
And you get your ass whooped, and he just makes so many fucking dumb decisions, and it's just like, I have, like, the first, like, 10 or so issues in, like, a collection of, like, Iron Fist, and it's, like, super 70s, super, like, you could tell they're like, let's rip off martial arts movies and make it, like, this, and yeah, but...
That's fine with me.
But yeah, so then you just completely ruin it, and then, like, everyone's like, why did they hate our show so much? Because you made him a whiny little bitch who has no purpose anymore.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, they keep making all these shows, but I feel like they're not really trying. Like, they're just trying to pump it out. They're not trying to make something good. The Daredevil shows
I liked, and Punisher, I'm excited for that. You didn't finish Daredevil season 2.
I might finish. I didn't hate
the greatest thing, like the Punisher series, I'm excited for, but I still don't think it could top the prison scene. Because my favorite thing ever with the Punisher anytime he's involved in being in prison, locked up with criminals, is just the greatest thing to me. That happened in like the one video game, happened in a few comics. I'm sure I have one. It's like his first like mini series back in the 80s, and it's super 80s, and he's like in a prison scene. He like fights like 30 guys, and they kind of do something like that in the Daredevil series, and he's just covered in like so many people's blood, and it's just so like one of those hallway fights that they're kind of famous for.
Yeah.
And he's just like shanking people and fucking smashing heads into bars and just covered in blood. And,
I'm gonna have to watch it now. But
punishing intensifies.
I heard that he was really good in it.
He is, yeah. I mean, his
know.
head's a weird shape and it kind of bothers me. Something about it. I'm like, you don't look like Frank, but he's...
I always looked at the one dude from Tremors.
Yeah. Not Kevin Bacon guy.
Yeah. The not Kevin Bacon guy. But, I don't know. Like, they keep doing, like, all these different series, but I feel like they're not really trying. Like, with the It movie, there's things that there's a chick at the fucking bus stop, and she was bitching. She's like, well... So you saw the new It, and the other woman was like, yeah, I liked it. It was actually really good. And she's like, I didn't really like it. Because, I think what it is I saw the original. And I was like, okay, shut the fuck up.
You're dumb.
It's not the fucking original. It was a fucking adaptation of the book, first of all. And she's like, and like, I don't understand, like, they had like all these like zombies and stuff. I'm like, okay, one, I don't really know if I'd classify them as zombies. Two, you don't seem to have any idea about like the lore behind this character at all. Like, he's not a fucking clown. She's like, he's just supposed to be like a killer clown. Like, really?
No, he's not. That movie the original one ends with that horrible giant spider. Like, no one likes that.
There's also...
I just watched you didn't even watch the original. You probably like saw it on TV, got scared for 2 seconds as a kid, and then we're like...
It was also like the fact that like when they come back as adults, even in the movie, like the fucking fortune cookie opens up, like the eyeball and shit. All that shit happens. Like that happens in the book too. Like he like can just he works off your fear basically.
Yeah, he's a fear monster.
And he's kind of like a shapeshifter. And then
he's like a weird ghost alien version of Scarecrow. Like
I just didn't say anything because I was about to fucking like kill her. But it was so annoying. She was bitching about how like it wasn't true to the original. I was like, it was way closer than the fucking last one. In so many ways.
It's still not close enough.
Well, they did things like they added a lot more scenes that happen in the book, like Eddie meeting the leper and shit like that. They didn't do like the one with Ben that I wanted. They gave him like a different one with like him in the library, whereas he's supposed to be like, I think he leaves the library or the school, and it's like fucking negative something outside, and the wind's blowing really hard, and like I think it's like the bridge or something. Like the mummy comes up and comes after him.
Yeah,
and
I've heard about that.
And he gets
Didn't
away.
Something like that kind of happened in the miniseries. That sounds familiar, but I could be thinking of some shit from like Goosebumps or something.
No, in the miniseries, it was always like I think his dad became a mummy for a second when he was like at in the Barrens.
That or just
and like they don't mention his dad really at all in the book or in the new movie. But yeah. So the mummy comes after him and he gets away, and then when he turns around, he just sees like I think it's Pennywise just standing with a bundle of balloons. And like the wind's blowing like hardcore, but like the balloons aren't moving at all, which I always thought was fucking awesome. If they would have done that in the movie, but they never do that in the movie either.
They did that. Well, I think the miniseries I do remember him having like balloons that are just still and not moving, but I don't remember getting the.
Bit. I don't think it's like super windy out.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't remember having the impression of it being like.
Yeah, it's like it's like in the middle of like like it's like super fucking cold out and it's just the wind's blowing, you want to die. It's kind of like that situation. This little fat kid's trying to run away from the mummy, but. Like they gave like a replacement.
This movie's terrible. Why is Tom Cruise in this?
Well, they gave him Tom Cruise is after me. That fat kid would never escape Tom Cruise. He's really fast.
He is. He got injured on like what movie is he working on? I think it was like the new Mission Impossible. He's not dead, so I haven't heard anything about it. So I'm sure
even if he was, I wouldn't be upset.
Oh,
Scientology, man. He'd come back as a Thetan.
Hey, and then Henry Cavill, Superman. He had to go back for those Justice League reshoots to talk about that shit show again. And they're probably going to have to digitally remove his mustache that he cannot shave because he's in the new Mission Impossible. It's going to come out and he has a mustache and he's contractually obligated to keep it until he finishes his scenes. So he had to go and do Superman stuff and they're going to have to remove a mustache. Or they could have kept it. They should have had Superman return from the dead with a bitchin' porno mustache. We didn't give you the mullet, but you got a mustache. This is what...
This is what happens when Batman
little
beats your ass.
sacrifices, gotta be made.
So anyway, they replaced his mummy scene with a scene in the library, which I didn't like that scene too much. There's a lot of like jump scares and shit, whereas like the book obviously isn't gonna have that.
Yeah,
and it's just like creepy atmosphere and things that happen. And I just thought like they could have done things like, because there's other kids in the book, and like you'll get like a chapter, not like, I don't know if you call it a chapter, like a section from their point of view. Like the one kid's dad, it's like, I think it's his stepdad, and like beat his brother to death with like a ball peen hammer. Like when his brother was like 2, like his brother like did something and got mad at him, just beat him with a fucking hammer and killed him.
As you do.
Well, then like he buried like the hammer or whatever. So the kid gets beaten all the time by his dad. He just didn't want to go home, so he goes like this like park area, and there's like a little like overpass thing with like the water flowing underneath it. And he's hanging out there, and he starts to smell something that smells like decaying and swampy. And then he starts to hear like sludgy shit, like almost like slippers or something, or not slippers, like flippers or something coming towards him. And he starts to get like really scared, and he doesn't know why. So he just like takes off, and then he's like running. I think he maybe at this point has turned around and realized that the creature from the Black Lagoon is chasing him. And like he trips over a bench.
So it is also the Dark Universe too.
Oh yeah. So like he trips over like a bench that's flipped over, and when he tries to get up and turn around, Pennywise, the fucking
whatever
creature from the Black Lagoon, it's there, but it now has like pom poms on its chest from like his outfit, and it grabs him by like the head and just like twists and rips it off. And like that happens in the book, and then like the next day, like Mike Hanlon ends up finding like a pocket knife or something that the kid drops like blood around it. He gets like really nervous and like leaves the park. Like it all ties together. So I thought it'd be like really cool if it concentrated more like on the kids hanging out and getting to know each other, and then every once in a while you get like a scene with like another kid from their school and like what happens to them, instead of like they're just like, this kid's missing now, and like because they had a lot that they were trying to cram into it. So like if you made it into a series, like the scene with Eddie and the leper in the movie, I thought could have been substantially better. I don't think it was like the worst thing in the world, but I felt like they were like, I didn't feel like they were trying to make a good movie again. I felt like they were going for like a blockbuster style feel. Like it was just like in your face and like,
yeah, which I mean, I've heard mostly good things about it.
I don't know. It's not what I was hoping for. I don't think it was a bad movie. I just don't think it was as good as it should have been, especially with like the source material that you have to work with. Like you could have made it substantially better. But again, if it was like also a series, you could have spent more time with like Eddie going to the house on Niebolt Street and running into the leper.
And if you do change things, you can at least have more time to make it worthwhile for changing it.
Yeah, because like, they didn't like change much about like what he does like with the leper scene. It's just like it happens like the whole movie. Like I felt like it never stopped, and I've heard other people have this complaint. Like Chris Stuckman says it. He's like one of his complaints is he felt like it should have had more of like the kids getting to like bonds and stuff. But and like the movie just never seems to fucking stop. Like once it gets going, it's like fucking full speed till the end of the movie. And I like hated that because like part of like the best parts of the book are like you get like these like spaced out moments where like
a bunch
the kids
of
are hanging out
have
and
sex with the one
that's at the very end.
girl.
Oh, that's at
I
the very
don't
end
even know
of
any of the context of that other than that it happens.
It happens. I think it's after. I haven't gotten to that point yet in the book, but I know a lot about it. Like I think it's because like they have like a disconnect after like they kill it or something. Like just don't like lose like their memory or something. So like they
just all start fucking.
That's like the way to bond. It's like she initiates it because she thinks it'll bring them closer together. So like the mentality behind it makes sense to a point, but. There's things in the book that aren't in any of the movies, like the turtle, which is like, because basically Pennywise is the devil and the turtle is God, and they both come from like a rift in space time, and they have to do like in the book. I think there's like some ritual or something to do for the turtle before they go face Pennywise.
I'll stick with my convoluted logic and backwards talking midgets with that kind of shit.
Well, all I'm saying is that everything would be beneficial if they just went with like an episodic thing, because then like Eddie on Niebolt Street meeting the leper for the first time could have been like a good spacing point in an episode, like a 15-minute thing instead of like a scene that lasts like 3 seconds. And then I didn't really like. I don't think it's the actor's fault or anything, but I didn't really like how Pennywise was either, because he just seemed. I liked it in like the last movie and kind of like in the book when he is the clown. He seems like a human. Whereas in this, it's like, not once would I ever be like...
You might be a real person.
Yeah, which is like, the Georgie scene was still kind of cool at the very beginning, but I was like, I don't think any fucking kid would go near that clown.
No.
Like, you look like not human. And his eyes always like getting like fucking droopy and shit.
Yeah,
which I thought was cool.
That scene always bothered me, because me personally...
I wouldn't go talk to somebody in a fucking storm drain.
First of all, if I saw some shit go down a storm drain, I would be like, alright, that's the end of that. My paper boat. Is it really that important, Georgie?
Well, the original one takes place in the 60s when that happens. So, like, you lose that paper boat, man.
What else are you going to do?
You got nothing else. This one takes place in 89.
You're just going to get a beating.
The remake takes place in 89, which I think is a cool idea, because then...
It makes, when they do bring it into, like...
It's going to be modern day when they come back as adults. So that was cool. But another thing about the movie is How many chicks do you think are going to make like a slutty Pennywise this year for Halloween?
Oh God!
Because you know that's going to be a big costume.
Just like last year, I saw something on that with that. It was like
Well,
last year it was all the Harley Quinns, and now
it's going to be a bunch of Pennywise.
yeah.
There's also that, and there's the fact that there were like those clowns last year that were just like spotted. Like, is that going to become a thing again?
I don't know. They should just. I mean, that should just be a thing that happens. I think
Every year.
Yeah. The
We should
more
make, like, a
creepy,
new
weird stuff
tradition.
I have to deal with in real life, I feel like it would distract me from my normal problems. If I had to worry about murderous clowns, I wouldn't be worried about like, fuck, gotta get to work on time. Oh shit.
I couldn't get to work on time because of this murderous clown.
Had a chainsaw. What the fuck was I gonna do?
Well, was the chain on it? I don't know.
I wasn't gonna inspect. Maybe you should.
Perhaps. What other
Yeah.
talking points you got going on there?
Oh no, I was just saying when we were talking about just everything being everywhere, and then like, with everything being like a reboot, reimagining, or an adaptation, it just with superheroes, my excitement has dwindled. I still watch it, and I'm still like, yeah, I'll see it, and I'll be happy if it's good. But I don't sit there anymore like I used to, and like, oh my god, when's this happening?
I still haven't even gotten the Batman movie I want.
No.
I mean, I like
that one looks promising because Matt Reeves is making.
What?
He's Matt Reeves, the guy who did the last two Planet of the Apes movies.
I haven't seen the last two. Wait, no, the one was the one with James Franco?
Not that one.
Okay, so
it was like Dawn and War or whatever, something like that, or Rise.
Rise is the first one. No, okay. Dawn and then Rise.
It's like a trilogy. The last two were done by Matt Reeves, and he's doing.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Batman.
Those.
He's directing it.
I don't know.
Affleck dropped out of directing.
Is he even acting still?
Yeah. Well, there's constantly like rumors that he's going to quit or he's leaving or going to get fired or get replaced. But until it's completely confirmed, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, because that sounds like it's going to be a great film. But
apparently they want to go more like the detective route, more like the psychological, not just like, you know.
Well, I like the Nolan films. It's just that was too realistic. I liked it to be a little comic-y.
Because, I mean, I guess The Dark Knight, I think, would still be...
When I saw The Watchmen, I was like, this would be great. And then
but then
fucking... It's not, I don't even think it's his fault. It's most of the studio that fucked it up.
It's a mix of, like, his style overtaking too much of it, I think, too.
Yeah, to a point.
Too much of that, like, brutal, stylized, look how cool this violence is and all that. Like,
yeah, he does do that a bit.
And then this, like, fucking Superman dying. Like, that whole thing is a fucking mess. Let's kill Superman after we've had, like, two movies with him where, like, people don't even like him yet. And then all of a sudden, like, in Justice League, there's, like, trailers, and he's like, he was a symbol of hope, and I failed him in life. I won't fail him in death. It's like, you literally hated him this whole time.
The last
you
second.
Barely have a conversation with the guy.
And then you realize
like, why the fuck did he even do it? Why does Wonder Woman could basically have done his job without getting stabbed in the chest, or she would have gotten stabbed in the chest, but, like, the kryptonite wouldn't have made it worse for her. You know, like, and how is he even doing it? Like, how is he, like, holding the kryptonite and, like, flying full speed at Doomsday? Like,
well, he was, like, dying in the middle of it or something.
Yeah, and then he gets elbowed to death. Like, fuck you. Like, and then even then, like, then
he wasn't even dead.
I know, because then by the last scene, it's like, look at the little particles, and we cut.
Yeah, because I was like, that one, that really made me mad, actually. I was like, you really couldn't even stick with that. I think Stuckman said that, too. He's like...
You can't even stick with your terrible decision.
Yeah.
You're like, this was a bad idea.
I don't even mind him dying. It's just, they probably should have built him up a bit more.
That's the one thing, is I'm not the biggest Superman fan, but, like, I agree with people when they say, like, they tried to make Superman dark, and, like, I just don't think it works, because then he just seems like a mopey little bitch. With, like, I do, like, parts about Superman I do like is, like, how, like... He's kind of aware of, like, his place is basically a god on the entire planet, but he's still, like, does the right thing, and like, still, like, I don't know, and he doesn't question himself in that sense. Like, maybe earlier on he does, but, like, there's no sense of him, like...
That's what Smallville's for.
Yeah, but then, like, even then, like, Man of Steel, his dad doesn't fucking help, because he's like, you shouldn't let them kids drown, you know? Let it happen. Sure. Let it happen. Well, maybe. Then, I don't know. I can't say.
Well, then, like, the fucking Batman vs. Superman... It's that one, right? Where he's like, he talks to his dad multiple times?
Yeah, he's like on the mountain and like he sees his dad pop up. I'm like, okay. Kevin Costner.
It's like his Fortress of Solitude location. He goes there and just talks to his dead dad like multiple times. I was like, of course your dad's telling you what you want to hear. It's your fucking imagination, you dumb motherfucker. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, that movie was like upsetting to a point. We're going to take a break real quick. We'll be back. All right, we're back.
Yeah. So yeah. In other news, music related. It's kind of been out for a few weeks, though, but Doyle touring with Gwar. I think that is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel like it fits really well.
It does.
I want him to come out on stage with them as, like, another monster.
He has joined the band now. You can get fucking Alex too, just cutting himself on stage so he uses his own blood. They don't need that fake shit.
Yeah. He probably started jerking off too, spending semen everywhere.
Branding people.
Dude.
Come
get you a penis, baby.
Dick solid.
Dick solid.
That whole tour, like, I can't imagine, like, any tour that they do with those people involved, like, Alex Story involved in anything. I just wonder how that goes.
What, be on the bus and stuff with him?
Yeah.
Sure, it's an odd situation.
I mean, I have a feeling, from what I've heard, like, when he talks to people and is actually socializing, he's a bit more...
normal?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, he doesn't always seem like that unstable. Like,
no.
He doesn't always seem normal either. So that's something to worry about, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know
how you go about being the Dick Solid kind of character.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole life that I don't know if I could live. I envy.
I'm more of like a flaccid. I'm like a Dick Flaccid. That'd be a good movie.
Limp fuck.
I wonder if that's like a fucking porno that we should find and watch. Instead of like Lake Placid, it's like...
trying to fuck with a limp dick.
Lake Flaccid.
Lake Flaccid.
And the movie's all about the dude trying to get it up.
Well, hey, if these podcasts and short films don't go anywhere, I guess maybe we'll start a different... You still got all that video equipment, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to do something called the Booby Bible. And I was going to go on Craigslist, and I'm sure I can get a couple chicks who are like willing to get naked on camera. And I really just wanted to be like topless with like the major scene or whatever around them. And they just like have the Bible and they just read it. So like, but a different chick per like book of the Bible. And then like, they just like talk about it and maybe like have like one of those like pictures that go over it of like Jesus that it's transparent so you can still see her reading.
Like superimposed over it. Yeah.
For like certain parts. And like, so that was like an idea that I had. And then Kelsey was actually like, she didn't seem like she was going to stop me from doing it because I brought it up a couple times and she was like, yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to do. I was like,
it's boobies, just don't touch them.
Yeah. Well, I also thought about getting like just beat chicks too. That would be like extra funny.
It's like not even pleasant nudity.
No, you're just like, oh, why am I watching this?
Well, like, I want to make you watch Blue Velvet still because there's like a bunch of nudity in that, but it's like pretty much never like sexy. It's like, oh, you're sad and broken. This is unsettling.
Well, continuing on about...
fuck anything that moves!
What? Continuing on about the Doyle situation. Is there like anything other than like them being together?
Well, no, it was just because for like a few weeks it was like their tour schedule kept changing because I follow it because I have problems and listen to far too much Doyle and anything Alex Story related or Misfits related.
Yeah, you're really big into Cancer Slug.
Yeah.
Which, if you guys are interested in that at all, which I'm sure it's not a lot of you, but we will be doing a couple covers soon. So if you care about that, look forward to it.
I don't know if I want to spoil it because it's quite a doozy. What song we're gonna do?
Oh yeah, well that'll be the first one released. Those people will get it. You'll understand when it's there.
You'll see.
I'm not sure you're gonna want it, but it'll be there.
Might be tears in your eyes.
Oh, there we go.
But yeah, no. So their like tour schedule kept like changing, and I was like, "Oh, they're playing a show here. Oh wait, they're not playing any. What's happening?" And then I guess so they were like, "Yeah, we got an opportunity to open for Guar," which for some reason, even though like Doyle isn't playing like huge shows, I'm still like for some reason weirded out that he's opening. I don't know why.
Oh, that Doyle's opening?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like when you
just
said
like
it, I kind of just
like,
assumed that Guar was opening for no reason.
No, like
they're a much
Guar,
larger
they
band.
would definitely be opening
for
Guar. It would never. I don't see any time soon being the other way around.
I just assumed because I like Doyle so much.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like to me, I'm like, nah, motherfucker.
It's a Doyle show.
You need to be headlining. So yeah, and then eventually they came out like, yeah, we're touring with Guar, and I don't know. I've never really been huge into Guar, and then their singer died, and
was the singer?
Yeah,
that's right.
Dave
was
Brocky.
it a drug overdose? Is that what it was?
Yeah, like found him
lying on the floor.
Puddle of...
Hey, we're not doing that song, so
no,
not yet at least.
Not yet. Not yet.
I like that. It was a good plug.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, that was basically it. It's just October. They're gonna be doing that tour.
They're doing another Misfits thing too, aren't they?
They are, and I almost wanted to fly out to California just to see it.
Well, that's like a weird thing though. Like, why aren't they doing anything, around here where they're kind of like?
They're saying it's the only one they're doing in 2017, so maybe next year they'll have something announced for 2018, and they'll do like a fucking East Coast show because if you read comments and that stuff, a lot of people are pissed because they're from Jersey.
Yeah, and they haven't done one over here.
Yeah, and people are just like, "Why are you forgetting about us?"
Yeah, like we saw a person who got so excited he punched his friend in the face multiple times at a Danzig show.
I got kicked in the head so much and was so happy about it.
Yeah. I caught Danzig's water.
I bathed in it.
I fucked it.
Oh.
I mean, I could barely fit, but I made it. I made it work.
Damn.
I'm kidding. It was a little big. I hardly fit it.
Just rubbed it around the edges. Got the...
That's all I needed.
Just a feeling.
I had to like, circular. Instead of like...
Man, I wish we had video. You could see my hand motions right now.
You'd be getting it off. So, that's my drawing.
Oh, that's a penis.
Yes, it is. Very good one, too. Graphic.
You should,
I had hair to make
get
it
a video
mature.
for this. You gotta, like, take a picture of that and just cut it in there for this part.
I could do that, maybe. Yeah, I could do
5 minutes in editing, I
Take
think
a
you can
picture
handle.
of my phone, yeah. Oh, yeah, I can. Anybody else gonna fucking help me edit ever?
I ain't got a computer. If I would,
know
I'd do
that.
it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He likes to bitch.
Yeah, well, whatever. So, other than that, there's no Misfits shows coming up around here, but I guess if you're... Who's playing with Primus?
I don't know.
Oh, Tool. Tool was playing with Primus. I think
they
that's
were?
Passed. Yeah, I think it's passed now.
Okay, because I'm supposed to go see Primus within the next couple months.
Oh, you can look it up. There might be still... I think it was over on the West Coast, though. But I would like to go see Tool really bad.
I'd see it. Like I said, Primus is also not a band I'm really into, but RJ was like, hey...
Primus would be cool to see live.
Yeah,
though.
that's what... And he always tells me about their shows because he's been a few times, and it always sounds like a good time.
I can imagine. Primus is like, they're kind of known for putting on odd shows.
Yeah.
They probably sound really good, too.
It's just the thing is, like, all the bands like I really want to see, it just seems to be like... They don't want to play nearby.
Yeah, well... Or like they're in Europe all the time.
Yeah.
Because people over there actually care about
music.
music.
If they tour over here, like, I'm going to play a shitty bar.
Yeah, basically, like
I'm
Starling Ballroom.
tonight. Yeah.
Which I like Starling
Ballroom. Like, if I was playing places like that,
I'd be happy, but like if you...
upset.
Yeah, but if like you also play like theaters and shit everywhere else, and then you come
and
down...
like festivals and all that.
It'd be like a little upsetting, I suppose. Well, I feel like a festival is basically the same thing.
Starling got crazy when we saw Anthrax there.
Yeah, that bitch. Remember that chick? There was a chick that was punching that dude in the face during Anthrax.
I just remember they came out, and it was after Worship Music came out, and that opening track on that album was like Earth on Hell.
Yeah.
I was like envisioning them opening their set with that, and then by the time Testament and Death Angel were done, we were just like dead. We went up away from the pit area.
Because it was so cold out, so we were wearing like leather jackets.
But they
shit.
came out and they started the set just how I like envisioned, and like that floor fucking erupted. And I immediately regretted my decision to not be down there.
Well, when we were up
or
on
when
like
they did the Indians, the breakdown in Indians,
cool.
and they were like, "That's not good enough." And Steve almost fell over a railing into a garbage can, and we had to save his life.
Funny too, yeah.
He could have died.
Well, that woman, like, there was like a guy and his girlfriend, and then some other dude, and I think like that guy was also there with like his wife or girlfriend, and the one chick was like pretty clearly drunk. But she wasn't, like, falling over completely, so I didn't expect her to, like, just attack the one dude. Remember, she kept, like, headbanging really hard, and she'd, like, grab the guy that she doesn't know, like, she'd, like, grab his shoulder and, like, headbang, and, like...
Oh, yeah.
And he kept, like, looking at her and was like, okay, I guess that's fine. And she just started, like, hitting him. And he was like, what the fuck?
What
and, like,
are you?
And then, like, his wife or whatever was like, what the fuck is your problem? And then her boyfriend was like, I'm so sorry. And, like, pull her away, and we never saw them again. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Control her.
It wasn't the same as with the Danzig show where they both seemed to be happy about getting punched in the face.
Like I said, crowd surfed, kicked in the head like 6 times. I've never enjoyed getting crowd surfed upon and kicked, except that day.
There was also like that hippie at the show who like they kept telling him to stop smoking, and he just was like, I'm not smoking while smoking. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Security at that show was a fucking bunch of douchebags.
Well, apparently that's like a big thing with Danzig is he doesn't like people taking video and pictures.
Well, what's whatever.
I
they were
almost
like
don't
shining
blame them
flashlights
because it does
face,
get annoying
though.
when everyone's just standing there with a fucking phone. And
Yeah.
then everyone looks at you like you're the weirdo just because you're like 12 beers in and trying to have a good time and like headbang a bit. And they're like, look at this guy enjoying himself, fucking weirdo.
I'm trying to watch the show through my phone.
Yeah, or just sit here. Like when I just saw Iron Maiden like last month and a half ago.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I didn't go.
You didn't go, but you know I went.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had like basically like nosebleed seats. I don't know. Everyone's just sitting.
Well, when
Sitting
you're
in
not
the-
that close, it's a little bit harder to get.
I know,
added
but
into
even
it.
still, like I've seen video evidence of like back in the day when like
Yeah. I also
even in the rafters people were standing up like
yeah, back then they didn't have anything but like a lighter to hold up, so
yeah, but these people just sit there and then like it was me and like these 2 guys who I swear must have like taken a trip from Mexico just to come see them at the New York show for some reason.
Oh.
And they were like the only other people who were like standing up, very visibly smoking weed.
Well, nobody ever gives a shit at a concert. I've had cops. I remember I was at Mayhem Fest and me and Bobby and I forgot who else was with us. I think maybe Steve. We started to smoke and these girls turned around and they're like, "Oh my god, you see that?" and they were like making like a big deal out of it, but like we were right next to a cop, and he was just like gave us a thumbs up. He's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, he's like, just don't do anything stupid. Like, we're not. We're just trying to get high. Like,
ain't a big deal.
No,
it's like I told you about that. The fucking see, this is the thing. Is I would never just smoke like cigarettes in a venue.
No,
you're not supposed to. But the venue I was at for Iron Maiden, I think it was it's in Brooklyn, Barclay Center. Is that the one?
Sounds right.
Yeah, there's no smoking area, and once you go in those places and they scan your ticket, you can't leave. And like I get it, it's like they don't want to promote smoking, but like fuck you. Like I just paid like $70 to come see the show and get shitty seats, and then I have nowhere to go to even have a cigarette like in between a band, like just to have one. I gotta sit here for like 4 hours.
Just deal with
while I'm
addiction.
paying $15 for your like 12-ounce beers.
Yeah, well,
and so you know, I
you get 12 ounces, 15.
It was like a normal size like plastic cup, and it was like $14.
Like 8 ounces.
At least when I went to like PNC, it's like 15 for a tall boy. Like,
you also outside.
Yeah,
so you could smoke.
Yeah, but it's like I can't even like I'm supposed to sit here this whole time. I can't. I can't. I didn't. I smoked in the place. The bitch was right. The stairs were like right in front of my seat. The railing is like right there, and the guard's like right down there. She's just like watching, like the band, and I'm just chain smoking. Because when we first walked in, I asked the one, and I'm like, "Hey, there's a smoking area anywhere?" She's like, actually there isn't, and you can't smoke in here. But if you did, I didn't see anything. So I kept that
then
philosophy.
She lights a cigarette.
Even though the one who was guarding our door watching that, she was like, yeah, there's no smoking in here. You can't do that. And I was like, aha! See what I think about that. Fuck your lungs.
Well, the whole, like, people, not getting into it thing that you were talking about, you have the, like, there's that mentality, but then there's also, I've been to shows where people are getting way too into it, and it's like, dude, why don't you chill the fuck out?
Yeah, there's a difference
and leave
between,
me
like,
out of it.
Yeah, when the
like,
person, like, must crowd kill entire crowd.
Yeah, or, like, pulls you into a mosh pit.
Or that one show you played, where was that?
Oh, it was somewhere in Jersey with Those Who Dwell Within.
Yeah, when you played that, and that dude
is like fucking.
He's a big fucking dude. And he's like ramming.
Kicked that chick in the
he's
gut.
ramming into like fucking little.
He like
12-year-olds.
back kicked. He back kicked that chick in the stomach. I remember like she was telling somebody, she's like, I like the band a lot, but
this dude's a fucking dick.
And then after the show, he's like, you just gotta like, you guys are fucking amazing. You guys just gotta like tour and sell albums.
Tour and promote the album. Tour, promote the album. And it's like, all right, dude, I'll take your advice. The guy who's coming to local shows and kicking children.
Yeah.
Like, whatever you say.
That's where my band failed, is what he said. We didn't promote the album enough, so we lost the...
I mean, yeah, I kicked everyone in the head after my set, but I don't see how that relates. So I don't know what you're talking about.
But I mean, the same thing happened when I saw Suicide Silence the one time. It was Mayhem Fest, again, with Steve. And there's a couple other bands that were like that I'm not really huge into, but I still watched them, and... It wasn't as bad with the Suicide Silence show, but there was one of the bands, there was this fucking, it's always like the short dude in the Napoleon Complex who wants to fucking do like that fight dancing shit.
Oh, yeah.
And he like always runs up to like the biggest dude he could find and starts swinging. And there's a few times like they like literally just like looked at me and Steve and just like tried to hit us.
Yeah.
I was like, you're not even like dancing, you're trying to fight me. And then Steve like fucking...
What's the difference? Yeah.
Steve like almost shit his pants because the one kid came close. I put my foot behind his head and just shoved him. I was like, his fucking head hit the concrete, just like stared at me. I was just
he died later that day.
Like, what the fuck are you gonna do? You want to fight? Like, what are you doing?
I get beat up.
What are you gonna do? I get beat up? It's fucking retarded.
I'm sure I told you a million times about when I saw Megadeth, and it was, I think it was also at
the Haley thing.
Yeah, no. What was Montage Mountain or whatever, where they also do like Warped Tour. It's like outside, and there's like hundreds of people. A sea of hundreds of people surrounding me. I'm like 17, I think at the time. Still only weighing like 140 pounds. So when I have hundreds of people pushing up against me, I'm not even touching the ground. I'm like floating amidst the crowd. And this another short guy who's like spiky hair. And he's just like, like kind of like bulkier though. And very aggressive, headbanging angrily. And I'm getting pushed by, like I said, hundreds of people in his direction. And he just keeps slowly craning his head towards me, just like he's gonna fight me because
he's mad that he's short.
That we're in a crowd and I'm bumping into him and I have.
Well, the same thing happened at like the Danzig show with Mike, and the one dude was like, "You bumped into my son again. I have a fucking problem." And like, Mike doesn't even do anything. It's like people were pushing him in the crowd. He didn't like push your kid. He wasn't even looking at your kid. Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah, it's like, and Mike's a big guy, but when there's a few hundred people pushing you, you don't have a fucking choice. You think this dude was like probably in his like 30s or 40s, and it's like you don't have any idea of
how this works yet?
Yeah, you don't get that? Because I get it. This is like the third show I've been to.
The Danzig show, that also happened where like a good situation in that kind of aspect happened where there was the one chick in front of me with her boyfriend watching the Danzig show, and they were like right up against the railing. So like when we started getting pushed, I didn't want to like crush this chick. So I put my arms like around her onto the railing and kind of pushed back and like sat down almost. Like I had like my feet on it too and just sat a little bit to where like I was getting pushed, but I wasn't like I wasn't like crushing her. And her boyfriend turned around because like it looked like it could have been like bad. Yeah. But like he even looked back and was like, "Thank you." I was like, "No problem, man."
At that same show when Slayer came on, we like made friends in between the Megadeth and Slayer set.
Oh, that short guy?
No, it was a different, like, two other dudes who were like, "Oh, you here to see?" And I was like, Megadeth. They're like, "What?" And they're like very offended that I wasn't there for Slayer and Slayer alone.
Those guys.
But they were like still nice. And then they're like, "Nah, you're gonna get up front. You're gonna see the show." And like basically, like the guy did the same thing where like it was me and like
Haley.
Yeah, and like he was like behind us, like holding onto the railing, like pushing back everyone because he was like a shorter guy too, but he was like,
well, short guys are stocky, you know, they can like get that low center of gravity.
Yeah, I don't got that. I'm tall and lanky, so I just like topple over.
Fall over.
A strong breeze hits my head the wrong way.
Well, my dad always talked about whatever, like the fairgrounds, whatever it is, over in Middletown where they used to do shows. He said like he went to, I think it was like the Ride the Lightning tour. He went to go see Metallica. And he's like, everyone was like, you know, getting pushed around and shit. And he went to go jump or something. Like they were like, everyone started jumping. And he jumped, and the crowd like sucked in around him, and he couldn't go back down.
I know, that's what
he was trying to pull himself back down, and they like pushed him up like a crowd surfer, and he had to go all the way to the back and watch the show from the back. He was like, "What the fuck?"
Forced crowd surfing.
And that was back before like
why?
That was back before cell phones and shit. So like after the show, he had to wait by the entrance for his friends or some shit. Like,
oh my god!
You can't just find someone like you can now.
Yeah,
it was like
wait in the car for 4 hours, lonely and sad. Friends are all like off getting laid behind a shed,
and you don't even know because no one can just text you and be like, "No, man, we're over here."
I'm in someone right now.
No, you're just like, I got crowd surfed out of my friends.
Yeah, no, that's what happens to me though. Like at that Testament Anthrax show, that Megadeth show, like the crowd pushes me hard enough, I like lose my footing for a second, and I can't get it back because I can't touch the ground.
Was it? I think it may have been that show. Or maybe it was the Mayhem Fest. It may have been Mayhem Fest. Someone had like a circle pit going. I think it was actually Suicide Silence. Had a circle pit going. And some guy got his glasses knocked off. And I think me and Steve may have even been in this pit. I can't recall entirely. But I remember everyone was running around really fast. And then someone's glasses, like he got bumped or something. And like they fell off. And like everyone just stopped. And like they looked around and some guy picked up his glasses and handed it back. The second he put them back on, they started right back up. I was like, see, like that's like...
That was at that show. Once again, it was Anthrax opening Megadeth Slayer. And Anthrax, I went in the pit. But I had to take my belt off. Because I had a studded belt back in the age of 17, and they didn't let me bring it in because it could be used as a weapon. Meanwhile, my girlfriend at the time had a switchblade in her backpack. Got in just fine with that.
Wasn't she also wearing a studded belt?
Yeah, she I don't know. Different standards, I guess. No big deal. But, so I'm walking around with pants that don't fit.
You sound sexist.
Well, what?
I said you sound sexist. Women deserve better rights than you.
I know. They should be able to carry any weapon they want.
Yeah, because they can't stand and pee.
Also, to be fair, like, at a show, she did end up getting, like, groped by, like, a mystery person. So it's just like, you know what? Maybe the switchblade wasn't a bad idea.
To her anyway.
Yeah, but, like, yeah. So I'm running in the pit with, like, holding my pants up because they won't stay up because I needed that belt. I needed it and they took it away from me. But I get knocked down, my hand comes off my like belt loop,
but you got
and
up
my
again?
pants drop. And before I even hit the ground, like 3 people were like grabbing me and picking me back up. So I'm like flying in midair, picking up my pants, like, all right, let's keep going. Meanwhile, during the Slayer pit,
people
John,
don't give a fuck.
Not our normal John, but another John we know.
John Newber.
He got punched in the face aggressively. He's like by a big dude in a Danzig t-shirt. Then he's like, that's what I get for talking shit about Danzig all the time. I was like, yeah, it is, motherfucker. And he was like, I'm pretty sure he had a concussion. Because like the whole time afterwards, he was like holding his head. I think he threw up at some point. And like,
He probably did that.
Yeah. Dude knocked him the fuck out. I missed it because I was being guarded at the guardrail. He was the dumbass. He's like, Slayer Pit's a great idea.
Yeah, I don't know why people do that shit. Like, I've never like gone to a show and be like, I'm going to find somebody and just randomly punch him in the face. That happened the Dr. Acula show.
Yeah.
Remember when we told you about that with fucking...
That dude was like chasing Pat.
Yeah, at that time, I think it was Jeremy's like 16th birthday, and I think Jeremy might actually be like a month or two older than me. Or, yeah.
Yeah, so you're like 15.
Yeah, so...
For those who can't do math.
Yeah, we're like 15, 16, somewhere around that age. And we get there, and Dr. Acula at the time wasn't what they are today. They were like more of like this like weird fucking, I guess you call it metal. I don't even know how to classify it, but it was a bunch of like, you know, fight dancing.
You be my bride.
That's not them, but...
No?
No, that's a different band.
I don't fucking know.
But same general genre, I guess. But we get to it's like in some like old movie theater, so it was kind of cool. But like they gutted out the front end of the seat, so there was like a spot for like a pit or whatever. And Jeremy tried fight dancing for a second, and then decided he also thought it was stupid. Yeah, and then we were all just kind of hanging out by like this, like, cause they're like the old school heating units, like the metal ones up on the wall, which are like roughly head level with us. And then this guy shows up, and apparently we found out afterwards he was like all fucked up on like multiple things.
All the drugs.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he was like totally shit faced, and he was also like someone had said he did crack, but that could have just been a rumor. I don't know. But like, he shows up, and we're just standing by the rail, and I think at this point Dr. Ackland might be playing. I'm not even sure if we actually saw Dr. Ackland. I believe that we did, and. We're standing there, and this dude just, like, he starts, like, running back and forth from, like, one wall to the other, and we're lined up on the wall to the right. And every time he gets over to us, Pat's, like, the shortest one at that time, but he was probably, like, a little bit heavier than I was. But he would get to that side and just, like, shoulder completely into him, like, all of his, like, weight.
I'm gonna
like,
break you, boy.
Like, full running, like, just straight into him, and, like, it would bounce him off the wall.
That's what that fucking dude at your show was doing. He's just like, I don't care if you're, like, tiny and 5 foot, like...
Yeah, that's because he has, like, a fucking, like, he's insecure, probably.
Look at me!
So,
I
like,
go hard in the pit. That means something, right?
Well, he hit Pat, like, I don't know.
Nothing else to live for.
He hit Pat like 4 or 5 times like that. But like on like one of the like the last one that he did it, he like put his hand out and like grabbed him by the face and like bounced his head off like that radiator thing, and it dented it. And like Pat's like legs kind of buckled for a second or some shit, and he just like took off after the guy, and like everyone was like, no. He hit the dude with a nice little combo though. He hit him like 3 or 4 times, and the guy's head like whipped around him real quick, and then just stared at him. And Pat was immediately, he like started shrinking back. He was like, oh, I'm so fucking sorry. And the guy just like grabbed him and picked him up and slammed him on the ground and started like beating the shit out of him.
That's ridiculous.
He finally walks away, and like we're getting Pat, and he's like kind of like, you know, upset and shit, obviously,
because he just got his ass beat by a psycho.
Point, he was probably like 14. I think he was younger than us. So then, and this dude was like in his 20s, I believe, and this guy was like 200 something pounds. Yeah, so he doesn't feel pain. And he was drunk, so he definitely doesn't feel pain.
Think you know pain?
And this dude's like, you know, 200 something pounds. Pat was maybe like 160 and a little bit shorter. And he fucking, we think he's gone, so we get Pat up, we go to leave, and all of a sudden he comes in with a fucking metal folding chair, and he's like whipping it towards us, and he's like, and we're like, what the fuck? And all these adults come running out finally, like, stop the situation. And I'm like, the rest of the night was just ridiculous.
I was going to say, you turn to the left, you see someone with a Sting mask there, and then he takes the mask off, and it's still Sting.
My God.
He'll serve as Pat's champion.
He takes his mask off as John Cena, but I couldn't see him.
He disappeared, and then that guy just killed Pat. That was...
No, we made it out of there, but it was pretty ridiculous. Yeah, fun times at some metal shows there.
I hate them.
Sometimes.
Like I said, except Danzig, then I'm okay with all of that. Because I'm like, I understand. I get it now.
I get it. Although I never felt the urge to do it. I just was fine with other people doing it, as long as it's not to me.
The worst I did was I threw someone into a pit, Matt Babcock. But it was that Anthrax pit, so I wasn't like thinking he was going to get killed. He was like headbanging, and I was like, yeah, having a good time. Put like my hand on his shoulder, and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, ah, ha, ha. And I just threw him in, and he was terrified. He got like caught up in like the whirlwind of like.
What you have to do is focus your center on an object.
Get in the pit! Oh, God.
He's got like the man bun thing going on now.
He does. I should cut it off.
You know, it's whatever.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Maybe
He became very
to him.
passive after that pit. He's like, yo, bro.
I pass on the pits.
Gotta center your chakra.
Because I got centered.
Well, it's not a triangle, you see, it's a circle. Well, I mean, even like my very first Warped Tour, I walked in with my aunt, and I had like her camera and like some, I think they were like Arizona iced tea bottles, but like they were like the glass ones.
Snapple.
So yeah, so I had to sneak them in, and it was Kill Switch was playing, and I never saw him live. I didn't really listen to him too much before then either, but after this I kind of got into him because they were really good live. And we start to watch them, and then I've never like been to a metal show, I don't think, at that point. So then he's talking about doing like the Wall of Death. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So like he splits the crowd. He didn't even call it the Wall of Death yet. He called it that like later on. He splits up the crowd, and like I get on like the one side, and I was like right at like the edge. I'm like, okay, so what are we doing? I didn't understand what was happening. And he's like, all right, we're gonna do a Wall of Death. And I was like, that doesn't sound good. And he's like, when I start playing, you guys just run at each other and fucking kill each other. And I was like,
too old for this shit.
I was like, wait, what? And then like they start playing, and I like everyone just starts running. I was leaning back and digging my heels in, and everyone's just pushing me forward. And I finally got up to like the other wall, and this fucking chick who was twice my size comes running over and just elbows me right in the bridge of the nose.
Why'd you have to elbow? Like, why'd you
I don't
elbow?
know, dude. It was like the chicken wing thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you, I mean, obviously there's gonna be accidents and that kind of thing.
No, she
but
did
like,
it on purpose.
When you go in like swinging, you're just a dick.
I was getting the shit beat out of me. I was like trying to. All I was trying to do was make sure I didn't fuck up anything in the book bag because everyone was just like punching and shit. I was like, "What the?
You're gonna get
is
stabbed
happening?
like shards of glass and like
Yeah." I'm like that same exact warp door. I was like 13 or 14. I just moved back up here, so yeah, I think it was 14. There was like a guy passing around a blunt. I didn't even think I'd smelled weed at that point. Well, I smelled it, but I didn't know what it was, and like I didn't understand. I was like, "Why does your cigar smell so weird?" And I finally like clicked, and then like he turned and like went to go hand it to me. I was like, "No, I'm okay.
I don't want to be on crack.
I've never smoked before." I don't do that shit still. I don't ever take anything from anybody like that I don't know, because I'm like, there's so many fucking things that happen. I don't want to be that guy who gets like fucking laced with angel dust, like in It's Always Sunny.
End up digging a
grave.
digging a grave for bodies, and
That shit gets crazy. Well, to move on from there, my last talking point, maybe you'll be glad to see it, was Twin Peaks.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't want to get into too much because I mean it's kind of a hard show to just like talk about,
especially
entirely.
because like you're behind. So
Yeah, so I'm into the new season. I just want to talk about how basically up until this last season, which at this point I'm at the point where I guess you'd say, or you have told me, like most people kind of dropped off in season 2.
yeah.
I actually am very much into the show more now than ever.
Well, the thing is, because from where you said, like, you pretty much got to where they wrap up
The murder.
the murder and everything. And it's after that where it kind of dips, because once that gets basically resolved,
It's basically
like,
all done with now.
yeah, it's like, what do we do now? And Lynch and Mark Frost kind of dropped out a little bit for a while, because they're like, you ruined my show! You ruined my show! And like I said, the last few episodes, like, there's stuff that builds up, and like, I still feel like you should watch it, because I can't remember specifically.
Well, I'm gonna watch it. I'm into it.
Yeah.
It's just like I could see like where there's certain storylines that really are just pointless.
Yeah,
And
that's the thing, is that's what they wanted the show to be. Is they wanted the main mystery to be the excuse to explore the other mysteries and make up random.
Most of the other
storylines.
mysteries that like they're really getting into now aren't even like that. It's just like love triangles and shit. That,
and it gets weird in this.
But like the new thing going on, like I'm interested in like the shit with the Major and all that.
Major Briggs, him getting like abducted by the Lodge or aliens or who knows.
Yeah, I thought it was aliens at first.
It looks like it's like a white flash from what I remember.
Then there's like the owls and shit they talked about. Oh, the show, like, because like the way they did it was like it. I guess like back it would work really well when like you had to watch TV, because if you thought the show was good at all and you said that last, I think it's the season. No, it's not the season finale, but it's later on in season 1 with like the midget dream.
Yeah, it's like the 3rd episode.
Is it that early on? Well, either way, like you see like that stuff, you'd be like, oh, that's really weird. That's like really the main, really one of the only really weird things in season 1. But then like
other than like just the strange like vibe and like attitude about certain things, but
then you're like, so I guess you like, I don't know, you'd be like, oh, either you didn't
just
like
a dream.
it, yeah, you're like, oh, I didn't like it, or you just like thought nothing of it. But then like in season 2 when it actually finally came back, I was like, holy shit! Like when he goes through it, I'm like, oh my god,
yeah,
every part of that dream had a fucking purpose.
Yeah,
but like you had to wait. Like
it has, especially back in the day, because that's where, like I said, the new season, I liked having to wait every week, but I also had so much excitement built in.
Yeah.
And with the internet, being able to watch like theories every week and all that definitely helped. Whereas back in the 90s, I guess when it first came out, it was one of those big like water cooler talk around the water cooler about what it was.
You and your friends.
But then like a lot of people just kind of like it blew up and it was big and like, you know, the mainstream, but then it slowly weeded out people who are not interested in the weird, strange, surreal, drawn out storylines. I know, that's what I mean. Like every reason that like a lot of people dropped off is like what I like about it. So
your favorite gum is back in style.
The gum you like is going to come back in style.
And when he said that, I was like, because like I knew like it was kind of like a setup, like that he was setting up in like the what's that, the Roadhouse.
Yeah,
and he brings everyone there. I kind of like knew he was like setting up something there, and then when like they started like when he said that, I was like. Oh, like that's like one of the first moments like where I felt like how you and RJ always seem to feel at the show. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, because you just get these little like there's just things that happen, and you're always sitting here like, what was the point of this? What was that? And then when it comes back up, it's like, and
that was genius.
We'll say like by the end of season 3, there's still going to be a million things where you're like, what was that? What was this? And then you just spend so much time like things that do get connected, and then you're trying to figure out if this would tie into this or this if this actually does.
Watch it was all this big ploy, and you're like sitting here with all these questions, and he's gonna do one more movie. If that's like his next thing.
Yeah. That I would watch. Basically, the way it's ended, like I said, you haven't gotten there, so I can't get into it. But where it ended, I was disappointed at first, but then I almost was kind of like, you know what? If this is how it ended, I'm okay with that. But if you decided to do either like another season or like another wrap-up movie, I would also totally be on board with that too. Because my brain is also like, I need more explanation. I need to know what happened with this and that. And I'll never get it. I know
Probably
it's
not.
not.
But I don't know what else he's doing, so maybe.
Maybe. He's older, but then the thing is, like, people from the
Not
show
that
keep
old,
dying, too.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, if it's like his next project, who knows? Who knows? But I just wanted to bring it up for anybody listening who hasn't gotten into it. I don't want to get into the talk about it unless like we were actually like, to break down episode by episode, which would have to be like its own thing. But
yeah.
it's definitely a show that if you are into anything, I guess I haven't really watched much of the X-Files, but I could see where the comparisons would be made to an extent. And just like it's a very unique show. So,
yeah, and it takes a bit to get into it too, though.
Yeah,
because I kind of was like, I mean, when you first started watching it, you were like, this isn't what?
That's because you guys made it all sound like all like the weird stuff. I expected to be like really dark and
yeah,
stuff. But
like
it's mostly...
I kind of had that expectation too, and I knew it got somewhere eventually. From like the few things I had heard, so I stuck with it for a while, and like eventually it's like even without the weird stuff, I kind of slowly got to be like, I like these characters, they're weird, I like the stupid random shit that happens.
I do too, but it takes you a while to like give a fuck about them.
Yeah,
because like even like there's certain things now like because I didn't understand that the show was gonna have like quirkiness to it. I thought it was just gonna be like a very serious show.
Yeah,
and then. So that was like something that put me off at first, and then just seeing all the stupid shit that happens. Anybody listening, I could do it on the Dirty Jerv Facebook. I'll start posting the videos I take on there because I take videos all the time from the show. I don't even know how many on Facebook now.
I don't know. I like every single one of them. Now.
Yeah, I'll have to put them on there. I have them on my Instagram too, so I don't know. I just want to bring it up that way. Anybody listening, if they want to check out a new show,
new season's out. Maybe if we get enough people to watch it too. They'll be like, you have to make season 4, but I feel like, I don't know.
I'm fine with whatever he wants to do. I don't want to like, push anybody to do anything.
No.
I don't think David Lynch is the kind of guy who would give a fuck if
he doesn't
push him anyway.
Oh, no.
Like,
if you watch interviews with him, he doesn't even like answering questions. He doesn't like, he compares it to being on a firing squad. Being
I can
like,
see that.
Yeah, and he's just like, he likes to leave the mystery. And he's like, he's like, I want my movie to be just the movie or like the show. He's like, I don't want anything before. I don't need anything after to explain it to you. He's like, I just want it to be it's its own thing. I shouldn't have to talk about it. Even if I made it make no sense and you have so many questions, you fucking figure it out. Because
that's like a lot of musicians do that too.
Because like Bob, the character of Bob, the way he came into that is they were literally, that guy who plays Bob was just a guy who worked on set. And they were filming something in the house, like the Palmer house. And someone said, oh, I think his real name's like Frank Silva. He was like, don't get locked in that room, Frank. Won't be able to get you out. And then like suddenly like he had a thought of like, that guy, picturing him like locked in the room, and then he like took a video of like him hiding behind the bed frame,
yeah.
And he just did that, and then like later on, that ending scene in the first episode where like she wakes up when she sees like the vision of someone going through the woods and taking the necklace. If you look in the mirror when she sits up and is like screaming, you could see him in the mirror because he was also accidentally in the shot.
Oh,
so that's basically where like that whole thing came from, and it's just like this is all the stuff like. So, like, the whole Bob thing wasn't a thing. Laura was already killed in his mind before he came up with how, why, all this. It was very... The way he does
never really
stuff.
planned on, like, answering...
Because he's very meticulous, but at the same time, the way he does it isn't like, and this means that, and this does that. He's also just very, like, I thought this, I'm just doing it. Yeah. Intuitive is what I hear people say a lot.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of weird stuff, and you get things where you could tie it together, or you could pretend it doesn't.
But then it works out, because if you constantly try to do it, it's going to be like either pretentious or just stupid.
Or the Red Room, him leaning on a hot car on a summer day, like while they're filming, he just thought of that like scene, and then he's like, "We gotta." I imagine that conversation. It's like, yeah, you know the show that's kind of this crime drama. Well, now we need a dream sequence in a red room with a weird floor and people talking backwards. Let's rock.
That's we're out. Anyway, I think that about wraps this up.
Yeah, wrapped in
plastic.
I was gonna say plastic.
Boy, guys.
Alrighty.